Ian MacKay had a career year for the Bandits. He's with us now on Sabres Live. Ian, great to have you on the show. How are you feeling as you're on the eve of, again, this matchup of the Rock and the Bandits?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Definitely excited. It's a shorter week, which I think is a good thing, especially in playoffs. So it's a one less day to, think about it and maybe overthink about it. So we're just definitely excited. I was over at the arena not long ago with a couple of the guys. The floor's down all the time now. So we were over there shooting and just starting to talk about it. So the excitement's getting there and the buzz is definitely filling the arena already.
Ian, before we move on to the game tomorrow night, I want to go back to the last game you guys played, the Rock. I was there with my son. What an atmosphere in that building. It was for first place. But at the end of the game, like the teams were on the floor after the handshake and they were jawing at one another. What was being said in that moment? And are you guys talking about it? Like, is it easy to get up for that because of the little pushing and shoving at the end of the last game?
Yeah, I think that just goes to show the hatred for one another and the rivalry that we really do have. And that game was the game previous. Like to have a quick memory about it, but they beat us up pretty good in Hamilton. So we definitely wanted to get our revenge that game, not only the scoreboard, but there's obviously things that happen throughout the game that you want to settle in future games. So I don't know if there's necessarily anything like that per se, but the hatred's there for one another. And, anytime you play Toronto, people have been asking me about the second game that we played them, that they beat us up pretty good. And if that plays into effect, getting pumped up for this game. And honestly, not really, because it's just how much you don't like them and you want to beat them, especially in the playoffs. We've seen them the last, I think, 2 conference championships. So to see them again is definitely exciting, and we're fired up for it.
Ian, you had a career year offensively and played a lot more on the forward side of things based on some injuries earlier in the year. How does that change you in your evolution here? 4th season in, opportunity to do more, and now that the team is, I would say, healthier than they were at times during the season. What is your kind of role specifically going into a game like this, given that it's not exactly the same as it was in some of the earlier games?
That's a great question. I go into every game kind of wondering what to expect and what the game plan is, but that's something I've prided myself on my whole career, even going back to when I was playing junior in Orangeville. Really trying to embrace a transition role. And to me, being a transition player is, there's a traditional sense that, you play defense, push the ball up to offense. But if you look at like Josh and Dane, some of our best players, you can almost consider them transition players too, with how much they go back and play defense and take away the other team's opportunities of trying to get transition. So I've always prided myself on being able to be a lacrosse player, not just define myself by one role. And if it's defense that they asked me to do, then so be it. If it's offense, whatever it may be. But recently, I've been kind of finding myself going out the D door, but on the first power play and on the face-off team and on the last minute D as well, which I like. It means I'm on the floor and the coaches trust me in different situations. So I take it as a compliment, and I just try and go out and do my best with whatever position I'm in.
What about the buzz in the building? Because Bandit Land is known for, just being a great crowd and a supporter team. So much so that, as I was telling you, I was at the last Toronto game. Next to me were a Toronto Rocks fan, and they got into it, not into it in a negative way. Like I caught them and I was laughing, standing and chanting some of the things that were happening in the building because they loved it so much. They had not seen that in other places. So what about that as a home court, home field advantage with this series?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge, especially as the playoffs go on and the rivalries kind of intensify, especially playing against Toronto. Like, no matter who it is, Bandit Land is our backbone for sure. And it's such an advantage. I mean, you talk to guys from other teams, they get excited to come play in Buffalo because whether it means families coming for them or friends or just the atmosphere itself. I mean, the home floor advantage is definitely a real thing, especially in Buffalo. So we're looking forward to putting on another show for the best fans in the league.
Well, you mentioned the short week, and obviously it's the shortest possible turnaround because you have game 2 on Saturday in Hamilton. This is kind of an ongoing evolution of the league as far as, evolving from single elimination games to trying to add more importance and opportunity to extend series. Same thing happens in the final, obviously, with the best of 3. What is it like to have this quick turnaround in this, and not to mention with the Rock being based in Hamilton now, we know that Bandit Land will travel pretty well, presumably, for Saturday also.
Yeah, I can only imagine that they'll Bandit Land will travel real well. They tend to, and especially in the playoffs and how meaningful these games are. But it's unique. I honestly don't really know what to expect. You usually get one back-to-back, or one like 2 games, one weekend, kind of weekend each year. So you get a bit of a taste of it. I think I kind of like it. I'd almost rather the Friday, Saturday than say a Friday, Sunday or Thursday, Saturday, because it gives you less time for the soreness to kick in. You just wake up and you get right back to it. So, and with it being in Hamilton, we're leaving right after the game in Buffalo and just getting right up there. So it's a quick trip, which is good. So I'm looking forward to it, and it's gonna test each team and see who physically and mentally are able to endure this, and should be exciting.
What's the biggest challenge with the Rock? I remember last game against them, I think you guys had only scored 1 goal in the first half, now unloaded in the second half and won the game. But what's the challenge? What are the challenges playing that team defensively, offensively, and an all-around game? What are you guys looking for from them?
Yeah, they're obviously a very good team. We've seen them 3 times already, and I guarantee 2 more. So they're a really good transition team. They've had a lot of success this year, pushing the ball from defense to offense and creating opportunities and scoring a lot of goals that way. So we got to do a good job offensively, getting off the floor after shot clocks or after shots, and getting to the bench, making sure we get our D guys out. JT stresses, it's the first 2 or 3 guys getting to the bench quick, but it's also the 4th and 5th guy that can create transition. So making sure everyone's sprinting on off the floor. Their goalie, Nick Rose, has had a really good year as well. And they have a really good defense as well. They have 2 guys that'll probably be up for D player of the year this year. So they're a really good team all around, and they're here for a reason. But I think we have what it takes to counter them. And like we've seen in the 3 games this year, they've been good games. So it's going to be exciting.
Number 4, Ian MacKay from the Bandits with us. If you don't see the number clearly when he's on the floor, just look down to the shoes. The orange are the brightest ones on the team. And I love that. It's showing more personality. I think there are a lot of players that are trying to match you in the shoe game this year, but then you're taking it a little further with your Instagram feed. I think we're seeing more and more personality from you with that. Can you steer people towards you on Instagram and social in general, and how much you're embracing that this year?
Yeah, my Instagram and Twitter handle is Ian MacKay _94, and I think it's just a fun way to interact with the fans and like you said, show some personality. I've really embraced my little buddy Hasbulla there. So every time I did this year is just kind of my thing. I did like it started as a Victory Sunday post, but Sundays became a little later and they became Mondays to Tuesdays. And I think this one went out yesterday. So the Victory post go out a little later, and I make sure to throw a Hasbulla post in there. And I know he's gotten into a little trouble recently, so I threw the hashtag free Hasbulla in there as well. So I don't know. It's just fun. People always send me stuff and kind of relate me with Hasbulla because of it. So it's fun. And then the shoes it's kind of an ode to Mark Stainhouse, who is obviously here. He was one of my favorite players growing up because of the shoes and also because of the curly afro. I got pretty curly hair, so felt like I could relate to him there. And obviously I feel like our games are pretty similar too. So figured I'd go with the orange shoes, and I know I'll share it with my grandparents. They when they're watching on TV, they know where to find me, so they're thankful for it too.
Now, a lot of people don't like to read comments or interact, like they post stuff on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. Are you the kind of person that reads and interacts and responds and love seeing the interaction between the fans, or you put it out there and you let it roll?
I'll try to, as long as it's like positive stuff. I'll interact with the fans. If it's negative stuff, it's you just kind of in one ear out the other. But try to interact with them as much as you can. Respond to kids, whether they're messaging you or anything like that. So, and I think that's what makes lacrosse pretty unique. It's a pretty small community. Everyone kind of knows everyone. So, it's another fun way to just interact with the fans, especially here in Buffalo.
Ian, thanks so much for the time. We'll see you in Bandit Land tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.